Welcome to the Influential Advisor Podcast. Today I'm joined by Alex Sonkin, founder of the Due Diligence Project, a global peer-reviewed community of 500 plus elite CPA firms that vet and rank advanced tax strategies. Alex is also the co-author of the Due Diligence Project, which reveals why most business owners are dramatically overpaying in taxes. We'll cover how elite CPAs are delivering six-figure tax savings to their best clients, how AI is surfacing strategies most CPAs never see, and why the 18% of Fortune 500 companies paying zero taxes know something most CPAs still don't. Alex Sonkin, how are you doing?
Doing great, Paul. Great to be back in your show.
Yeah. And I was looking back in your notes, and you were my second guest on the podcast back in 2019. I've had a bit of a bird's eye seat into your trajectory, at least over the past 7 or 8 years. And I'm super excited to catch up with you today, as well as introduce you to our audience who doesn't yet heard your story and the kind of work that you're doing. So welcome.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for helping us grow, helping so many of our elite CPA members grow. And it's always a pleasure to watch you and your business expand and you become super successful in what you do, become a leader in your area. And I'm glad to be back.
How did you get into this world of due diligence and advanced tax strategies and figuring out how to work with CPAs and just the growth that you've had?
Yeah. After I graduated University of Michigan undergrad business school, I became an options trader in Chicago. I worked for a bank called Societe Generale. It was the 16th largest bank in the world. They paid me to trade options, to learn how to trade options in the bond option pit in Chicago. I traded S&P 500 options as a floor trader, which is really being a market maker. And learning how to make those decisions, learning which trades to make, which trades not to make, being a professional trader for about 10 years of my life allowed me to see opportunities, allowed me to understand how to make decisions from a trader's perspective. And I wanted to take my knowledge and start building family offices, virtual family offices, and help business owners access great ideas. And that's when I started realizing that tax strategies and tax planning was really a key component, a key value that business owners needed. And when we started working with CPAs and putting on seminars and events for CPAs with tax attorneys, with specialists that had unique tax planning ideas, we realized that CPAs really did not have access to the best tax planning ideas in the country or even average tax planning ideas in the country. CPAs were spread so thin producing tax returns, financial statements, they had very little time or didn't know where to go or didn't know who to call to find ideas. And if they found an idea, they didn't know how to vet that idea. They didn't know how to complete their due diligence. They didn't have an app like Amazon. So we basically built the Due Diligence Project. Initially, it was a study group for CPAs where we would introduce them to various specialists, allow them to ask their 15, 20, 35 questions, get their questions answered, ask them again, ask follow-up questions, get their questions answered. And if they were speaking with other elite CPAs or other specialists or tax attorneys that they would look up to who had more knowledge than them on that particular subject, or who were the leader in that space, people who are offering CPE credits, who are really in a leadership position in these areas, because the real challenge is no one knows how many pages are in the tax code. 18% of Fortune 500 companies, 18% of billionaires are zeroing out their tax returns. 82% of billionaires and Fortune 500 companies don't know how to do that, and they have access to the fanciest CPA firms and law firms in the country, none of which know how many pages there are in the tax code. So if you're a CPA firm and law firm and you don't know how many pages are in the tax code, which is everyone, how are you doing tax planning? Where you're getting your ideas? There is no other place. So we created that place. We became the Amazon. We became the Netflix, the largest peer review community of CPAs. And this has taken us 20 years to build, one CPA at a time. And that's all we do. Perform the due diligence, share those cliff notes on the due diligence on all these strategies with videos and PowerPoints with each new member. Allow each member to really go 3/4, 7/8 up the due diligence mountain. They're going to have to perform the last quarter, the last 1/8 of that climb on their own, but they're going to be able to be connected with the specialists to ask them questions, other CPAs in the community to ask their questions, to really understand How is the IRS looking at this strategy? Is there audit risk? Is there tax court risk? Nobody wants that. And so we're able to look at these strategies, rank and rate them for ROI, net of cost, net of risk, and allow our CPAs to be confident when they're bringing these incredible ideas to their most important clients, which does what? Generate a lot of value, additional fees, and introductions and referrals from their clients to their business partners and other super high net worth, high income individuals and families who need this type of planning.
For CPA, before they get introduced to you, what's going on? What's fascinating about you is that you are the client. Aside from this, as you said earlier, your family has built a company called Go Macro, super successful. You are that end user client who, without strategies to preserve your income, and you live in California, just maybe from that business owner perspective a little bit,
Yeah.
what's the value for them when they're looking at their CPA and saying, why am I paying so much taxes? What is it that their CPA is doing for them or not doing for them or should be doing for them?
Look, CPA firm, typically very successful business owners have found very successful CPA firms, and those CPA firms are making a lot of money. A lot of that money is not coming from bringing great ideas to their clients. They're making money just producing tax returns, producing financial statements, doing their audit work. That generates a lot of income for these CPAs, and it spreads them very thin. When a business owner says, "What else can you do for me?" The typical CPA saying, "We're doing everything we can." And that's the truth. Now, they don't know how many pages are in the tax code. They don't know all the possibilities. They don't know all the strategies. And even if they did know a strategy or have heard of one, they're not going to be comfortable recommending it until they complete their due diligence. Their due diligence on that strategy will not be completed until they speak with a thought leader in that area and be able to ask them 30 questions, get those questions answered, ask follow-up questions, and then be confident that the answers that they're getting are coming from someone of authority who really knows what's going on. Then they're going to have to look in the tax code, communicate with other CPAs and say, is this strategy going to hold up to an audit? That is a lot of time, energy, and risk that CPA has to take. So if you're dealing with a super high-end CPA firm that's making a lot of money, where the owners are driving fancy cars, living in fancy houses, do they want to do this additional work that is potentially risky, that's potentially going to bring their client a great idea or not? Would they just rather say, you know what? We have a lot of clients. We make a lot of money. We're making seven figures, mid seven figures a year as a CPA firm. Why do we need to do this additional work for what? When you really understand that CPAs are also human beings and they're not going to do anything that doesn't make any sense. If that CPA had access to a facility where due diligence was processed for them, where they could reduce their time by a factor of 10, where they can increase their confidence in completing their due diligence by a factor of 10 or more, and now start bringing massive value to their most important clients. Most CPA firms are not even aware that this study group of tax geeks exists, that we have hundreds and hundreds of members who represent, they are the top CPA firms in the country. If you're a business owner and you're working with an elite CPA firm, fantastic. It's like getting an amazing it's like buying a $5,000 cell phone. What network are they plugged into? Is it the Verizon network? Is it AT&T? Or is it Joe's cellular business that's plugged into their network of local advisors with their brother-in-law and a couple of estate planning attorneys? And we know all the tax strategies that this network of four people know. And now we're doing everything we can for you. That's what the typical CPA has been doing up till now.
From the business owner's perspective, what are those things that they should be looking out for?
That's a great question. If your net out of pocket is more than 10%, and that includes the fees you're paying the CPA firm plus your federal and state tax bill, if it's more than 10% of your net income, there are things your CPA can do to take it down to zero, maybe take it down to 10% or less, but that would be my red flag. So if you're paying 20%, 30% of your net income in taxes, there are multiple things your CPA could do that they're just not aware of. Not because they're a bad CPA, not because it's a bad cell phone. It's just not plugged into the largest, vast network of specialists and resources that facilitate due diligence for that CPA and make their job easier to find the best strategy that they're comfortable with.
So more than 10%, and that seems aggressive, but it seems very appealing from a business owner standpoint. I would love to pay 10% or less. From the CPA's perspective, I imagine that their business model, especially if they're working with high net worth clients, is they want to retain those high net worth clients. And if the business owner is getting information about, hey, you're paying too much in taxes, what is it in their world that they're seeing shifting today in 2026? I know we've had this conversation and or a version of this in 2019, but with AI and acceleration and all these things, information is literally not just at your fingertips, it's that times 10. From the CPA's perspective, what's their business environment and how should they be thinking about their business today?
Great question. I think maybe 1 to 2% of CPA firms out there are really doing proactive planning, proactive advisory work. They're seeking out strategies now, whereas when I first started 20 years ago, you almost never saw CPAs doing that at all. They were just all reactive. Now they realize, okay, how do I differentiate myself from competition? I'm going to bring advisory services. I'm going to start bringing ideas to the table. And so you have a whole group of CPAs who are bringing very basic ideas, additional ideas to the table. Maybe some of them are working with financial advisors and selling a commodity type of financial advisor services to their clients, adding that to tax planning and so on and so forth. And then you have this group of 1% CPAs that are out there really looking for high ROI strategies that involve risk or potential risk that needs due diligence. And that takes work. That takes time. They have to invest time and energy, speak with people, find the resources to really help them identify, is this strategy risky or not? Now, they could take that strategy and put that into Tax GPT or Chat GPT and say, how's the IRS looking at this? And they're going to get a very basic answer. And obviously, Chat GPT is getting better at that. But ultimately, the top specialists in the world, the top designers of these strategies are not programming ChatGPT and showing the nuances of here's what this would look like in an audit. Here's the weakest part of the strategy. Here's how we tie up that weak part of the strategy. So this is full audit proof, tax court proof. And these are the conversations CPAs would love to have. They just don't know a facility that enables them to have those conversations.
Who's the top 1%? These are the people that are aware that a problem exists and they're looking for solutions, or this is one that's being forced to adapt to the environment?
I'm talking about the top 1% of CPAs are becoming more advisors and really leading with their tax advisory business, meaning we have strategies to mitigate your taxes and help you look like the 18% of Fortune 500 companies that pay no tax.
Okay.
We know Zuckerberg and Bezos and Trump and all these billionaires, they don't pay tax, whereas more than 4 out of 5 billionaires are paying more tax than they should. So
They're all
this is
moving to
not,
Florida now, I heard.
well, you're moving to Florida, but that's just the state tax.
Okay.
We're not talking about the federal tax, which is the big monster in the room. If you're going to do business or you want to maintain residency in the United States, and you have a lot of people, even foreigners, who want to make money in the United States, because this apparently is the best place to make money in the world still. Okay.
Yes.
Easiest place to start a business, easiest place to become a billionaire. It's right here in the United States.
So right there, okay. So top 1%, they're proactively looking for tax strategies. They see themselves more, I would imagine, a little bit more advisory, tax advisory role. They're looking for resources. The name of the game is risk. They need to feel confident in the strategy and they need to make their clients feel confident in the strategy. And this can all take time to do. And so they discover the due diligence project. What happens then? What do
They join the due diligence project. They download the hot sheet of the latest, our favorite strategies, meaning like the top 10 shows that Netflix would produce, top 10 movies, Amazon Prime would show you based on what? Based on peer review. Our peer review is done by tax-focused CPAs who have at least 10, hopefully over 50,000 hours of experience in audit and tax court. So when they review a strategy and they get their questions answered and they start recommending the strategy to their clients, why are they comfortable signing that tax return? They're going to share that information. We're going to capture the video between the presenter, the specialist who's presenting the strategy to our audience, and then all the questions that have been asked by hundreds of our members to that specialist and those answers. So as the new CPA consumes that information, they're going to potentially want to meet with other CPAs or the specialist in that area, ask their own questions, and get their box checked off their checklist. That is a process that we really have mastered, just the same way the Amazon app has helped you make buying decisions on an Amazon app. You can make these purchases in less than 1 minute, complete your due diligence, find the product with 4.5 out of 5 stars or 5 stars, right? Out of 5 stars, and go, that's a great price. That's a great review. Click, I'm going to have that product at my house the next day. We've created the same due diligence facility for the CPA. It doesn't take 1 minute. And I give them the verbal bullet points of
Yeah.
this. These are the weak parts of the strategy. And this is how the IRS looks at this. And this is why our community of CPAs are comfortable signing that tax return.
Would it be fair to say that in any advanced strategy that risk still exists?
Risk is a factor, but then there's certain strategies that when you really break it down, they're very vanilla. It's just like me sending you a payment and writing it off as marketing expense, or sending a payment to a 1099 1099 general contractor for us and writing that off as an expense to the business. At the end of the day, the community of CPAs has to be comfortable with each strategy before they recommend it. We have hundreds of strategies and they utilize their favorite ones. So we have people in audit giving us feedback. This is what's happening at the IRS level with these ideas. Nobody in our community wants audit risk or tax court risk. So when we think that there's potential issue, either the strategy has to be changed to avoid the issue. We'll bring in former Harvard law professors to write tax memos, opinion letters on all of these different strategies. And that will obviously, the IRS has their own tax specialists and tax people. We have the community, the top CPAs, top tax professionals in the country who are the leaders in the private sector. And we think our community of hundreds and hundreds of elite CPAs is superior to those people who are willing to work for the government for the IRS. And we're all looking at the same tax code.
How have you attracted not just the CPA who wants access to this, but how have you, over the years and today, attracted that level of people and that caliber of people to come together in this community? And just add a little bit of context to the question, I know just in working with you over the years, is that something that you had told me earlier was that a lot of, or tax attorneys in general, are not allowed to actually market their strategies. And so there
In the open
exists
market.
all these things that are possible that many elites take advantage of, but your everyday millionaire, or even what's the word, decimillionaire, or maybe centimillionaire, whatever the word
Centimillionaire,
is,
yeah.
that
No,
they're simply not aware of.
Yeah, we're the only firm that really is focused on the tax advisor, on the CPA. Our job is to make their job easier. Our job is to help them deliver massive value and be able to monetize the time and energy that they put in their business. Most specialists are focused on the clients of the CPA. They're going through the CPA to get to their clients to sell their product or service to the end user.
If I'm a specialist and I want to access the CPA, I'm doing that so I can sell my widget. So I have the XYZ widget. I want everyone to have the XYZ widget. And that's what happens with many people. And that's the problem.
You're selling oil and gas, you're raising money for your oil and gas facility. CPAs have clients who don't want to pay tax, so you're going to help the CPA sell oil and gas to the client. That's a very basic thing. We don't even necessarily like oil and gas because the ROI on that is not very sexy compared to many of the things that we have in our community.
Yeah, I think this is really jumping off point. In my mind, at least, this is what really distinguishes you in the community that you've built, is that you don't just have one person with one solution. You have this community with a wide array of things that are available. Tell us more about that.
Basically, what's happened is as we've built our community, our members, other specialists are introducing other CPAs, other specialists, other tax attorneys to our network to review their strategy, because they know if they've got a great strategy and our community likes it, we're going to do a lot of business with that specialist. It's going to generate a lot of fees for them. So they're super motivated to design ideas and put them on the Due Diligence Project platform. We now have incredible strategies that are designed just for the Due Diligence Project platform, because we become an Amazon of sorts. We become the number one or number two customer of many of the resources that we work with, driving so much business to them because our CPAs have completed due diligence. They like the strategy, their clients love the strategies, and they're going to continue using them as long as they're comfortable signing those tax returns, as long as they're comfortable that this idea is audit proof, tax court proof. And each CPA is constantly reviewing the tax code, constantly looking at the strategy, because the tax code's changing. They're making those modifications, and how do those modifications affect the strategies that we're using? And sometimes it means that we're going to take a strategy and go, this is our top three strategy, and now all of a sudden it's not even on the list anymore. So
Hmm.
we're constantly rotating and looking for the very, very best ideas and serving that CPA. No one in the country is doing anything like this. And this enables us to help CPAs deliver massive value to their most important clients. Those clients are referring other big clients to those CPA firms and generating additional fees and so forth. This is not CPAs with utilizing marketing or utilizing language or utilizing a new process to create value and charge fees. This is delivering real massive value, shoveling dollars into their clients' bank accounts and charging them a small fee, a fraction of the benefit they're delivering. And guess who wins? The business owner wins, and the CPA feels really good about the time and energy that they're investing in their business and making a huge difference in their community.
How is AI impacting what you're doing? Context for the question is that I love AI. I was an early adopter. It was funny. I think you and I joked about this several years ago. It's like suddenly everyone's an AI consultant, right? So the question, that was a long-winded way to come to the question, which is, how is AI impacting what you're doing and the community's doing today, or how will it impact it going forward?
It's impacted us on a number of levels. Our CPAs are able to utilize AI to take on a strategy that is brought to them. They go through ChatGPT, TaxGPT, run it through their AI systems, and see that AI feedback is where are the weak spots from the IRS's perspective. They share that with us. We share that with our specialists, and then we could basically modify the strategy if it needs to be modified very quickly. There are tax planning software companies that have implemented due diligence project strategies and due diligence project into their software systems that are using AI to recommend ideas. And those ideas, many of those ideas are due diligence project ideas. CPAs are using AI to be introduced to due diligence project because we're being embedded as a leader in tax strategies that facilitate the due diligence for these CPAs. So to show them, here's a great idea that can reduce your client's taxes that's been vetted by hundreds of independent CPAs. For more information, you can work with the specialists or work with other CPAs in the community, complete your due diligence, and decide if you're willing to bring this strategy to your most important clients. On another note, we've worked with AI software company that developed AI software for medical devices who've asked us to raise money for them. And because the products are so innovative and so cutting edge, when they put them in a tax structure, meaning a client invests $1, they get a $6 deduction, and then they start earning interest on their dollar, 6% per year, which makes it a 9-to-1. Because the product behind it is an AI world-class product developed by a gentleman who's the number 54 developer on Silicon Valley's AI development list. Number 53 happens to be Apple Computer. Our partner's number 54 on that incredible list. And all of a sudden now we're raising $90 million for this medical device company over 2 years and really making a difference for medical groups and all these investors who are buying this product as a tax saving structure and also buying it to generate benefit for their community. The other thing that's happening is there are AI products now being custom built to be distributed by our community of DDP members to their clients that have generate tax savings, we have an AI marketing system that is incredible. Client puts in their website into this system. It shows them every single area on the internet where their company is being mentioned, and it designs AI marketing and language and push and pull marketing across the entire internet utilizing AI technology. We have AI employee replacements where you can replace a number of your employees using AI humies that you basically can use as a receptionist, inbound sales, outbound sales, administrators.
Am I speaking to the AI version of Alex?
You'll never know. You'll never know
I
if
know.
AI is getting to
But
be
wouldn't
that
that be
good.
great? At the point where you could do these things that the audience does not know. Interesting times.
It is interesting times. What's going on is we're utilizing these AI resources, AI technology, AI products, and then we're packaging them as a tax mitigation strategy where clients are putting $50,000 down to purchase $1 million worth of software. And that software generates more revenue than the cost of servicing that loan. And they're going to get their $50,000 back as soon as they've signed the loan documents. So they get $1 million deduction, nothing out of pocket. And the revenue generated from the four piece of software that they purchase is going to far exceed the monthly cost of servicing this loan. So what does that even mean? Their ROI is infinite. They got essentially a free tax deduction, and they're generating additional revenue in there for their business and additional revenue on their trading account that's being traded now by an AI trading robot that's going to absolutely outperform human traders who are subject to emotion. And emotion is really what kills professional traders out there. Guess what? AI trading robots don't have emotion. They just perform.
So when we started working together, 2018, it was very clear at that time that you and your community was only for elite CPAs, that you intentionally did not allow financial advisors to be part of the community. Is that still the case?
Because we really focused on the tax advisor, the CPA, because that's who business owner trusted for tax planning advice. We have now grown as a community. We've created a lot of leverage. We've gotten so big that we've been able to work with elite advisors who join our community.
Define a lead advisor. What does that mean?
A lead advisor is someone who understands that they're not selling commodities. They're trying to be proactive. They're trying to become or provide a lot of value to their most important clients. They're starting to work with other CPAs, other attorneys in their community, and they want to offer tax planning ideas to their clients, even though they're not a tax person. They plug in the Due Diligence Project and share the Due Diligence Project story of peer review with their business owners, introduce their business owners and their CPAs to our community, and now all of a sudden that advisor is able to really bring value, bring the CPA into the community and work with the community, with the CPA, even though they're not a tax specialist, and start bringing some of these vetted ideas to those business owners and get credit for that work. When we first started, we wanted to work with advisors. We didn't have the kind of footprint in the marketplace. We're working with advisors became a little bit more cumbersome than it is now. And now all of a sudden we're able to leverage our success, our community success, and show these advisors how to bring CPAs into our community in a very simple fashion so they can work with those CPAs and deliver massive value to their joint clients.
Very cool. I know that one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is the impact that you're making. We've talked about it in terms of tax savings, in terms of a number of different benefits, but there's another aspect I think is interesting, which is at the end of the day, a lot of these strategies end up helping people.
Yeah, so we try to make a difference on a multi-generational level. We utilize a lot of strategies, for instance, that have funded various charities. One of the charities that's benefited from us is a local charity, the Mitchell Thorpe Foundation here in Southern California. We've helped them generate over $300 million worth of gifts from our community and our CPAs and their clients who were selling large appreciated assets. We're able to make these gifts, partner with this charity. And now the work that they've done has helped over 400 families with very ill children take care of those medical bills for those 400 families and their kids. We're very proud of that work. We also had been donating a charitable medical device for emergency response. And some of those gifts went to Saquon Barkley's Foundation, but these are donations have gone to 501c3s. And we've donated these gift cards that convert to this medical device for emergency response. And so we've really helped a lot of different families access this medical care, emergency response. And our clients, the donors, are getting a very large deduction, a leverage deduction for making this gift. A portion of the profits generated by the Due Diligence Project go to support a church in Pakistan. It's a 99.9% Muslim country. We're supporting a church there that's growing. We're building a second building now in Pakistan. The pastor of this church was won a humanitarian award for the work he's doing in Pakistan. He credits that to the work, to our support for them. It's a very poor country. It's not like America where all these people go to a church, they have jobs, they contribute on a monthly basis, they can go and raise money in their communities to support the church. This is a very poor country where essentially I'm the only donor to this entire church that's now 2 buildings and counting, and they're very grateful for the work that we're doing. I always mention to my partners and clients, there's a very large church in Pakistan that's really praying for your success, for all the clients and partners of the Due Diligence Project success, because we're benefiting them and allowing them to do what they're doing which is a blessing. I wish I could do that work. I wish I could be that kind of person. I wish I could be someone who ran the Mitchell Thorpe Foundation and dedicated my life to helping families with sick children like that. I'm using my skill set, my blessings to support these organizations the best way I can. And it's very humbling to see some of these people use our resources and really just do incredible things on the ground in their communities. And to be a part of that, like I said, is really one of the reasons I work so hard. So it's really cool to see that result.
I want to ask you just on a personal side as we start to wrap up is you've had a lot of success in your life, multiple businesses. What drives you? What is it that at a certain point you probably have all the money that you can spend? You have a beautiful view behind you. Before we recorded, you're buying a beautiful new house. What drives you? What keeps you up every morning doing the work that you do?
I just think that when you get to a point where you become good at something and you deliver value and people appreciate it, and all of a sudden you just want to do it more. You want to help people. I really enjoy helping people. I enjoy helping the CPAs that I work with. To me, my relationships with these CPAs is on a very social level. I like to see them successful. I like to see a CPA firm come into the due diligence project and all of a sudden grow, and now their valuations is 5 times more than when they started with us. And that's very typical. And they look at me differently. So when I help people, I coached flag football for many years. A lot of the kids that I was able to coach are doing incredible things at college, getting into incredible schools, outperforming their competition. I like to take credit for their success, even though it sounds a little bit crazy, but God's given me a gift, and that gift is to help people and to be a great leader, a great coach. And for me to not use that gift be a waste. Every day I wake up and I want to please God, and I want to do the best I can with the gifts that I've been given. And my work's not done yet. The money I'm making, I'm sharing. I believe these CPA firms are counting on me. I believe the CPA firms' business owners are counting on me. The churches we support, the charities that we support. If I don't get up in the morning and do what I do, who's going to do that job, and how are they going to get supported? It's a blessing to be able to help people. It's a blessing to be able to work. I don't believe necessarily in retirement. I don't believe that the work that I'm doing is supposed to just benefit me. I'm supposed to help other people, and that's how I get blessed. And to me, it's really a blessing to work. It's really a blessing to go out there and be successful and to grow this, because spending money on myself is really not fun. Helping other people grow and watching them be successful, watching you be successful is fun. Watching these CPAs and these business owners become successful is fun. Watching the kids that I coached achieve things that we never even thought were possible when we were coaching them is super fun. It's very, very rewarding. And ultimately, I point to God as being the ultimate architect of all this. And the fact that he's using me as an instrument as part of this is just overwhelming. It's very humbling. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because it feels good.
Fantastic. Where can people find you?
DueDiligenceProject.com, DueDiligenceProject.com, info@DueDiligenceProject.com if they want to reach out to me is a great spot. And we're about to launch a new AI website with all sorts of AI facilities on there, utilizing AI marketing and all the good stuff. Our CPAs are about to do the same thing. Like I said, we've partnered with a gentleman who's a world-class AI development designer that's going to help us communicate these messages better, reach more people, and make a bigger difference in the world.
Alex Sonkin, thank you for joining us today. It's been a great conversation.
Paul, thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.